The Tomorrow People podcast is recorded on the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. First Nations people have been sharing stories and wisdom for tens of thousands of years, and we hope to honour that tradition on this show. We'd love to give a massive shout out to all the First Nations people listening. This was and will always be Aboriginal land.
Just a heads up that this episode may include themes that some may find confronting, so please take care when listening.
Tomorrow People Podcast.
Hi, I'm Ryder.
And I'm Paige, and today's guest is Dee Salmin. Dee is a powerhouse in media with a background in radio broadcasting and production. Dee currently hosts and produces The Hookup on Triple J. Welcome, Dee.
Hi, thank you for having me.
No worries.
Thanks
I love being in your studio rather than you being in mine, Ryder.
I know. It feels nice even though it looks kind of similar.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Drew a bit of inspiration.
Yeah. We're like 10 years late to the podcasting trend, so.
We don't want to start straight away. We just want to talk a little bit of shit. I was curious about fringes because you sport a really nice fringe.
Thank you.
I've
You
never
have
seen.
a really good fringe.
Thank you.
I've never seen you with a fringe.
Listen, this face is not built for a fringe.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
I spent my whole life never having a fringe and then just had that idea in my head and was like, I don't think it'll suit me. It'll make me look like a Russian boy. And then I got one and I've just never looked back. I think I've had it for 8 years or something now.
Were you one of those people that cut it yourself?
I did in COVID.
You
I had a mental breakdown in COVID. I was
Nice.
isolating in an apartment on my own and FaceTimed my hairdresser best friend and got the scissors out and
Shut
cut
up.
it. And so it's a really, really funny laughing point in our friendship group. But I have had this one professionally done.
I mean, it does look like you have this.
It's a lot different to the COVID one.
You can go real short and have, this might be a weird reference, Angelina Jolie in Girl Interrupted.
love that movie.
Her fringe started
Oh,
Dude, have you seen that?
quite
Yeah.
high.
Great movie.
That's normally what I do is I'll start up here because then it actually saves the amount of time between haircuts because it just takes so long to grow out that you get to this length and then you start again. Do you know what I mean?
Rebirth. Do you ever do slicky back? So I'm getting really off track. Do you
I'm
ever,
welcome to the hair
I'm
podcast.
this is not what I was expecting, but I'm here for
I'm
it.
the
I could
son of
spend
a
20 minutes
hairdresser.
talking about hair.
What's a slicky back?
you did slicky back on the weekend. It's
That's exclusively how I wear my hair. I
Okay.
never wear my hair out.
Really?
Yeah, only. This is unusual
A special
for me.
occasion.
Special occasion. Podcast.
No, the slick back is when your hair's oily, right? It's that's when I use
the
mine.
slick
Yeah,
stick.
it's just to hide the oil
Yeah.
and it'll just go.
Ah.
But it's called on TikTok the clean girl aesthetic. But really, I just am it's when you haven't washed your hair in 5 days and you need to hide it.
Me
I
every day.
can't
How
do
about
it.
you? Could you do a slicky back?
No, I'd
Also,
look like
slicky
Rat
back is
Boy.
so funny. You would.
I can't do slicky back. No, I don't have the face for it. But I was curious about fringes because I need a haircut. But
Yeah.
let's get into it, shall we?
Let's get into it.
Aw.
So we can spend more time talking about slicky back hair and rat boys.
Now I can't stop
Russian
picturing
boys.
you with the slick. You'll have to do it after. We'll give
You
you my hair
definitely-
tie and you'll just slick
definitely.
it.
I
That
think
will be the most vulnerable I've ever been. I don't know.
Wow,
Like
and you've
slick
been
back in your
vulnerable.
hair.
Well, I've shaved my hair off and that felt like full-time slicky
Yeah.
back. But yeah.
That
too
is.
much.
Let's,
me.
we need to get to know each other
Yeah.
more.
So we were really purposeful in not actually giving you much of an intro. And the reason why we wanted to do that is that, often when people like yourself come onto a show or come to have a conversation, there's kind of an accolade of things that they've done. But what we wanted to actually do is trying to open the floor to you to do a bit of a non-bio intro of yourself. So don't worry about your credentials. We know you're amazing. You've done so much professionally, but who are you? And to intro
Oh,
yourself.
wow. The pressure is on. I'm a Gemini. Naturally blonde. I am a huge lover of cats, obsessed. If we weren't talking about hair before, I would have spent 20 minutes talking about cats. I grew up in Perth in WA, have always been a 5-minute drive from the beach until I moved to Melbourne. So my nickname in high school, which I forced on my friends, was Beach Salmin. Because I was so obsessed with the beach. So the past 5 years here have been pretty hard for me emotionally and mentally during winter.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love op shopping. I love anything vintage, secondhand fashion. I love reading. It's probably what I do a lot in my spare time.
What's your go-to book at the moment?
I'm actually reading All About Love by Bell Hooks. Yeah. So clearly with my job, but I just do generally have always been drawn to like the psychology of relationships and love and dating, and which is why I kind of ended up in what I'm doing now. But yeah, even in my spare time, I'm still like deeply like researching love and reading about it. So yeah, I don't know what else to say. I love that as an intro though.
Yeah.
It's really nice to have someone actually ask you that.
No, I love that. And I think it's great. It paints a picture, right? Like you're not just what you do for work is so much more than that. So thanks for sharing all of that.
Thanks
Do
for
you have a
asking.
cat?
Yes, I have. Okay. Do I have
I think
a
we're
cat?
opening a can of worms here.
I have multiple cats. I have this really, I guess it is kind of toxic habit of like wherever I move, I need to get a new cat.
Oh my God.
So I have a trail of like 5 cats.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. One's with my brother, 2 is with my mom and dad. 1, my housemate Brendan and I own together, Doja Marie. But yeah, one of them has escaped in WA, and I'm thinking about shipping Macy, which is with mum and dad, back over to Melbourne. So they're all over the
Many
place.
cats.
Yeah.
Many cats.
So
I thought they were all together. That sounds like chaos.
no.
But I don't want to get too much into cat talk.
No,
like
let's
it's
move
making
on
me
to
think
cat talk.
about my cat Jeff, who is a complicated cat. Anyway,
I'll ask you about it after.
thank you for that non-bio intro. The reason why we wanted to have you on the show is we see you as a tomorrow person. What stands out to me about you is I think you're masterful at holding space for really taboo but important conversations. Like relationships and sex is just a massive part of life. And I think you do such an excellent job at holding space in a non-judgmental, curious way. But besides holding space, I think you take up space really well, and you're fierce and strong and powerful, and you speak your mind. So am I missing anything?
That's so nice, Ryder. I think that's one of the nicest things you've
Oh,
ever
really?
said.
I was like, oh, you hear that stuff all the
Can we
time.
write that down? No, that's so nice.
But
Thank
that's,
you.
I know I don't know you super well, but just at least from my small experiences with you and from what I've seen from you, I'm like the balance of holding space and taking space. Yeah, you're a gun at that.
Thank you. That's really nice. Thank you.
So now you have to say something nice to us. No, I'm joking. So we've got one more little surprise.
okay.
Poor Dee's like, what have I signed
this
up
is just
for?
the warm up. We've covered off. Yeah, we've covered off hair. We've covered off
cats.
your bio.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
We run an activity called the How Are You activity.
Okay.
And how it works is we ask you a question you've probably been asked today, how are you?
Mm-hmm.
But rather than just you saying, yep, good or fine, how are you?
Mm-hmm.
We'd love to give you 90 seconds to answer that question. And we're not going to interrupt or jump in or ask second or third questions. We just want to know how you are.
Okay.
And we'll tell you when the time's up. And you might like smash out your first like 10 seconds. I'm good. I've done A, B, and C. The cats are good, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. Oh, no. We're not going to say anything.
Okay.
Just see.
We're not ignoring you.
Will you tell me when the 90
We'll tell
seconds
you
is
Yes.
when
up?
90 seconds is up.
Jesus, I feel like I've gone back to drama school.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
All right.
You gonna ask?
How are you?
I'm good. In this moment, I feel really good. I feel like I'm someone who really like warms up when people are really warm, and I kind of work off the energy in the room. So I'm feeling really good in this moment. I woke up extremely tired, like insanely. You have caught me in the moment of a bit of burnout and a bit of chronic fatigue and a bit of pain. In this current moment, I'm kind of dealing with a bit of like period pain, UTI pain, inflammation in the body. So yeah, I'm taking a bit of time to just rest. And I usually am someone that wakes up like quite early and like go. I'm like pushing my partner saying, let's go for a walk, let's go get a coffee. But I couldn't get out of bed this morning. And I think it is just a reflection of like my body really telling me that I need to slow down and take a breath and just chill out. It's been a really hectic couple of months with work and just life stuff. So yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. But in this moment, like I feel pretty good, and I feel like I've forgotten that I was tired and that I was dealing with pain this morning. So yeah, thank you to both of you for changing my mood around. And please, can we get to 90 seconds? I have nothing else
You
to say.
literally, just as you said, please, you hit the 90.
It actually kills me. I'm like, oh my God, I just don't
Oh
know.
my God. And I think I'm a yapper, and it's just when you put a time frame on it.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. It's not easy to just go for 90 seconds. How was it for you?
It was good. It's nice to be honest. I feel like it's such a, like you said, like it is one of those questions where everyone always just goes like, yeah, I'm good. So it's nice to actually have the space to, be genuine and be a bit vulnerable with how you're actually feeling. It's nice that you both do that and that you'll do this in this podcast. I like that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for showing up today, even though you've got all that going on. It's a lot. Being a woman is hard sometimes with
Don't even get me
all
started.
the things. Yeah. So kind of to shift gears a little bit and maybe go a little bit deeper. So, as Ryder's mentioned, we see you as a tomorrow person. You're doing this incredible work in the world, but we have no doubt that there's been moments in your life that have shaped you to bring you to where you are today. And so the question we really wanted to ask is, what is maybe a life-defining moment for you, something that has shaped the person that you are now? And that could be anything from a heartbreak, a breakthrough, an amazing moment, a challenge, a highlight, whatever. But just maybe, a moment that you feel like has defined the person you are now.
I feel like two come to mind. And the first one probably comes to mind because I was talking about this recently to a friend. But I grew up, well, I guess we all grew up in the world under patriarch where, I kind of thought that my role as a woman was very specific to what I grew up in a household where it was like very traditional, my mum had a certain role and my dad had a certain role. And I got to year 10 and got accepted into literature at school. And the teacher that I had was this like insanely strong, fierce woman. And she basically taught me so much about feminism and gender inequality and sexism, and changed the way that I completely saw the world. And to me, that was like such a huge pivotal moment. I think that took me on the journey that I'm still on of trying to unpack that and similar to a lot of the work that you both do at Tomorrow Man and Tomorrow Woman is like really trying to challenge those ideas of gender and the stereotypes that exist. So yeah, that to me was a really, really pivotal moment in my life where I was like, wait, I don't have to just be like a mom and get married and be in the kitchen and do the traditional like female roles. And she was just so it wasn't even the way that she spoke about stuff in the text that we were reading and, unpacking Sylvia Plath and all of that kind of stuff. It was just the way that she existed. Like she was the breadwinner in the two of like in her couple, and her partner stayed at home with the kids. And just even I'd never even met a couple like that before in my life and didn't know that that was possible. And it was a really, really huge kind of like aha moment for me where I was like, oh, like we can be different and we can take up space and we can be strong and we can push back. And I was just thinking about that recently. And I think that really was a huge part of my journey in becoming a feminist. And then the second one would be when I was 18, I had a really bad car accident and like broke both my legs and my face and my jaw. And I was out of action for a couple of years and kind of in hospital for 3 months and had to learn to walk again. And it was a really, really huge moment where like I had just finished high school and thought the world was at my feet. And I was pretty like naive. I think I grew up pretty naive and sheltered in Perth. And, I thought I would finish high school and the world was my oyster and I would like go traveling overseas and I had all these plans. And it was like a really huge wake-up call experiencing that, and then also being told you might not walk again and having to reevaluate what my life looked like, and then also spending time in the public hospital system where I was in a room with 4 other people who were from all different backgrounds and suffering in so many different ways, and had to then spend, 3 months with a whole bunch of different people who were also recovering. And yeah, it was a really, really huge pivotal moment, I think, where I just learnt to slow the fuck down. And also just realize that like life is short, and it completely just changed my outlook. And I spent so much time reflecting. Like I had just been like so go up until that point, and then I had all this time on my hands to literally just sit and think and be in my own brain. And yeah, it was a really huge pivotal moment for me to like unpack a lot of stuff, like read a lot of stuff, learn a lot of stuff. And I think it changed my outlook on life in the way that I realized that like we're not promised the tomorrow, we're not promised tomorrow, And I obviously have moments in my life, that was 10 years ago, where I slip out of that. But I just kind of have, those moments where I'm like, oh, wow, like, I've got to remember. And it's interesting when you talk to people, like recently I was having a conversation with a friend, and they were so like optimistic about the future, and they just couldn't comprehend that I was like, you don't know what will happen tomorrow. Like you can't say that. Like that's not promise. Like you never know what circumstances life will throw at you. And I think that maybe if I hadn't had that experience, I wouldn't have that outlook. And it's not like I'm pessimistic. I'm just, I think, a realist. Yeah.
Isn't that like a wild thing to happen at 18 years of age?
Wild.
Like a rites of passage, just a near-death
totally.
experience. That's wild.
Yeah.
And actually also, the first story you told as well, like kind of your eyes opening to this whole world and being like, wow, I can live beyond this thing that I thought was what I had to be. And then only a couple of years later, as you're about to enter that world, you're like, that happens, So like those two things combined also like a massive moment. And, huge.
Huge.
How do you, like obviously you're saying, you're a realist, but how do you think it's changed the way you walk through life now? Like how do you operate today because of that?
I think there's like different ways that I've gotten to this perspective. Like my first job at the ABC was down in Bunbury, and I worked a lot in the southwest of WA and worked with farmers and all different types of people. And being a journalist, like especially in news, you have to meet up with people and learn about their lives, and that in itself challenges the way you see the world. But like that coinciding with being in a hospital space with so many different people who were struggling, or I think there's something really not humbling, but like, so for example, like this accident happened 5 hours out of Perth in the country. And because it was an emergency, I was helicoptered to Perth I can't remember maybe it was like Royal Perth Hospital. But they have this like insane emergency department. And no matter how wealthy you are or no matter where you sit, like in socioeconomic spaces, like everyone ends up there. Do you know what I mean? And that was really like we didn't grow up wealthy. Like if anything, we were on the lower socioeconomic side. But just to think that like in emergencies, like everyone is humbled to the same space, and spending 3 months meeting and seeing all different people and chatting to them and hearing their stories and learning. That was I think that coinciding with like me then moving to Bunbury and becoming a journalist as well, I think has shaped my worldview. Like being in the same room as an elderly First Nations woman who speaks in dialect, is from Kalgoorlie, and is really confused about where she is, but then also sharing a space with this woman who owns a cafe in a country town who has had her second car accident in her life. And then her partner has then had an affair with her best friend, I just had so much time to hear people's stories and learn from them. And I think that was like up until that point, when would I have ever, apart from school, really spent that much time with so many people from all different walks of life. And I think that has kind of, like what you were saying before, Ryder, about like holding space. I don't know if I would say that I do that myself, but like just being able to talk to people and give them space for their stories or like try and understand how they see the world and the way that they see it, I think has come from that moment. But then, like also just working as a journalist over the years as well.
I almost kind of hate this question, but how would your life have been different if the accident didn't happen?
I don't know. It's hard to think about. I don't know.
Like, did you know that you wanted to do the kind of work you're doing now before that accident?
I didn't.
Okay.
No. I was doing a Bachelor of Arts, and towards the end of that Bachelor of Arts, I did a radio semester and really fell in love with it. And that's kind of where I started that journey. But I don't know. I think I wouldn't have maybe committed to studying. I studied while I was recovering. I was really, like I was saying, like go, go, go. I just wanted to like go traveling, and I think I would have just like gone overseas and fucked off. Like I genuinely think like I was so obsessed with getting out of Perth and like going traveling, and I was really hippie. Like I was like insane, and I think I would have just gone to like Spain or something and like joined a commune. But I think that, like I was saying, that having that time to sit and spend time with myself and reflect, and I had to keep myself busy. I studied and did like a lot of uni work. So I think that probably wouldn't have happened. And I wouldn't have committed to like continuing on until I went to Whopper and did my postgrad. So yeah, who knows? I reckon, like I said, I would have been on a naked beach in Berlin probably. yeah.
Slightly different.
I know. I'm like, it could have been great.
The first life-defining moment almost moves us into where we're going to go afterwards about like this. The podcast is called the Tomorrow People Podcast, and who is a tomorrow person? What was your teacher's name, this amazing teacher?
Miss Lundy.
Miss Lundy.
Yeah.
Have you seen her
I
since then?
I haven't. And
do you think she knows this about?
No.
Yeah, wow.
No way. And yeah, it would have been so long ago now that I genuinely, I don't even think I would have told her at the time. But I should probably tell her or find out where she is and what she's up to. But it is crazy because I think there's probably so many teachers out there like that who at the time you are just like, ugh, my fucking teacher. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then it's only when you get older you can appreciate how important teachers are and how much they really do shape the way that people can learn and grow.
Was it an all-girls school or co-gendered?
No, it was public co-gendered, yeah.
Are there things that you do now in your life where you think, I got that from her?
I mean, definitely the whole, like, just even when I was saying about her being the breadwinner and the guy staying home, you know what I mean? Like, I think that when I think about my future, I think that's, you know what I mean? I'm like, that's a possibility.
Yeah.
And it's not often you see that.
No.
You see someone living that life. And so I think that was like probably something that I've like learnt from her. It's like, why can't the mum work and the kids stay at home with the dad?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously financially now and cost of living, that's like literally impossible.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably the biggest impact. And just the way that she was just so fierce and strong, and she was scary. But it was like one of those teachers that you like wanted to impress, you know?
Yeah.
What was the scary parts of her?
I don't know, just, you know, those teachers that like you want to impress and you don't want to piss off, and then like you don't want them to be disappointed in you. I think it's a really fine line as a teacher, not that I would know, but talking to my friends who are teachers, to be able to like get in that space with your students, you know?
Yeah.
It's like you want to earn their respect, and it would be like the most soul-crushing thing if they ever told you off, you know?
I was going to ask, how did you start to like, you were saying, you know, you kind of had this very traditional idea of what a woman was or how it should be in the home, like having seen Miss Lundy do something different and show up differently. How did you start to push back or break through some of those kind of gender stereotypes for yourself?
I don't know. It's hard to find like moments in my life because it's basically something that I just scream at people all the time. I think it's just like my friends who know me and like my partner and like exes, it's just, I think a lot of the ways that I will just like question things, or I think the main thing has been that I've always been really scared of falling into the domestic labor side of a relationship. And I think that doesn't really matter so much when you're young because, you know, you're just kind of messing around a bit and you don't live together and that kind of thing. But like as you get older, I think that's something that I've always been really staunch on. I think because I grew up in a household where that was like very traditionally implemented. And yeah, when you actually start to like unpack how much domestic labor and unpaid labor women actually do in relationships and in households, that kind of fuels the fire to staunchly make sure it's not happening. And I think there was even a time when I was younger where I refused to cook and refused to learn how to cook. And now I look back and I'm like, that's so ridiculous. But it came from this place of like, well, that's traditionally a job that women are expected to do. So I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm just not going to learn and you won't ever see me in a kitchen. Yeah. And that was, you know, that's just an example of like.
Yeah, the protest of it.
The protest of it. And so there was little moments like that, I think, throughout my life, whereas now I'm like, oh, well, cooking's fun and I have to actually survive.
Like, you know how to make eggs.
I actually have to make stuff to survive. So that, I kind of loosened my staunchness on that a bit. But I still think a lot of the other stuff like, you know, like the cleaning and, you know, the mental labor going into things and all of that, like still is something that I'm pretty staunch on and hyper aware of and make sure that's known.
Yeah.
How do you communicate that with partners?
I think it's about calling it out in the moment as it's happening or making sure it's a discussion that's had at the start, right? Like if you're going to move in together, it's like having those conversations around, well, what does that look like and how do we make sure that, you know, it's equal and the labor that we're doing. And I think, it's just about having those conversations. And I think I just like as they come, also they just sit in my brain and build up and it's like one of those things that it'll, you know, come out and it'll be like, we need to talk about this, you know? So I don't know. Yeah, it is. I probably don't do them sometimes in the best way. They can sometimes just like be unconsciously resentfully building up and then they kind of come out as like maybe a bit less like empathetic or, you know, but I think just being able to call things out as they're happening is probably the best way or the way that I tend to go about it. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I
really
love that.
About that.
That's helpful because, I think in my relationship, it would have been great at the start to have those conversations because I've definitely I've had to learn through frustrating my partner.
And I think we're the same. My partner and I are the same. And I remember after we had kids and me being like, all the work I do, how the fuck have we ended up here? That I'm playing this role and you're doing like, oh my God. Like, you know, so I think it is. I think we both felt like we come from these places, you know, I'm feminist and he's not traditional and all of that. And then we're like, of course we're not going to end up like every other married couple. And then all of a sudden we did, you know, and I think so the communication, I think beforehand, like that is really important.
Totally. Yeah. And I think that's what I'm so scared of. Yeah. That it almost comes out like too much because it's like every little thing is like, you know, hyper talked about and analyzed and stuff. But I think that like, it's probably an anxiety of ending up in that space. And I think my biggest fear has always been, and you see it happen with married couples, is the woman just being so unhappy and resentful, and it's not a relationship where two people love each other and are working and like putting effort in every day and showing up equally. And I think that's my biggest fear. And so I think, it's so important to have the conversations.
Yeah. Do you feel like with your current partner, they're also able to recognize it and be able to call out the conversation as well? Like, does it work both ways for you?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's like, yeah. I'm like, there's so much I could say. I'm being super careful. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's like not an issue.
Yeah.
We were literally talking about this before you got here of
Yeah.
like tough conversations with partners and
Mm.
yeah, they feel icky, but they're so important. Like I've been given some tough feedback recently. And what you just said about you need to put in work every day was definitely what my partner was sharing with me. So
It's hard, isn't it?
so bloody hard.
It's so hard. And it's like you have waves, you know. People,
Yeah.
Every relationship will have waves where like you're both maybe really busy or someone's not feeling great and,
Totally.
you know, but it's like just the check-ins. We talk about it on the Hookup. We did an episode called Relationship Check-ins where different couples had different like time frames, but, you know, people were checking in with each other like every week or every couple of weeks or every month. And it was like genuinely sitting down, setting that time and going through like, you know, what has worked well. Like not the shit sandwich, like what can we do better? But like unpacking like, you know, things that they need to work on or things that have been going really well.
Yeah.
And that's something I took away from the Hookup that I wasn't doing before, I think.
Yeah,
It's so important.
Yeah.
I love that. Because I often learn when I get told off or yelled at, but that's probably not the best way to kind of
That's
learn.
a great
'Cause
way
I'm
to
like,
learn.
"Oh, I don't want to feel that again. Like I really
That's
fucked
a
up
great
there.
way to
wash
learn.
those dishes now.
Definitely close that cupboard, but there's probably better ways to do it.
Close the cupboard.
Yeah, I know. It's simple. Come on, wake up. As we kind of move towards the end of this and just try to make a bit of sense, firstly, would you be willing to tell your teacher, Miss
Lundy?
Miss Lundy, would you?
Yeah.
Is there a way to
I
hit her up and
know.
let her know? Because she sounds like a game changer for you.
I know. Maybe I should call my school and just be like, hello?
Yeah.
Is she
She
still
might be
here?
on Instagram. Who knows? She could be
Nah,
on
Facebook. She'd be on
Facebook. Sorry,
She'd be on Facebook.
But
I
it is so
actually
nice
never
to
looked
hear.
her up.
Yeah.
I actually should.
Yeah.
And just also maybe give her the heads up that I've been talking
But
publicly
also,
about
like,
it.
You know, I think particularly now, like to have role models like that or people in your life, you know, that mean that, to be told that because we don't always see ourselves like that is so powerful. Like she probably is just like didn't even realize that she was having that kind of impact.
And think about all the other little D's out there who like
Yeah.
learnt feminism from her and even hopefully some boys because that's why I was so
100%.
excited because we're trying to teach boys
Yeah.
about feminism and that it's like digestible and practical and amazing and it
Yeah.
sounds like
Oh, I can't even imagine how many people she would have shifted because even like one of my really good friends, Sheridan, we talk about it all the time. We're like, Miss Lundy would have been proud of that. Like it's just become this like a bit of a meme or a bit of a
What
joke
would Miss
between.
Lundy do?
Yeah, like what would she do and like what would she think of that?
But how wild, and she's just living her life and she's got
She has
no
no
idea.
idea. I know.
And you do this work and, you know, like all this stuff that you do and little seed was
I know.
planted with her. So-
Totally. No, I actually
Yeah.
should.
Yeah.
And then report
That's
back.
your
and, like,
homework.
Yeah, that is your homework. We'll need you to send us a little voice note.
Okay,
Let
I
us
will.
know. Yeah.
So I think we've taken some Tomorrow People skills off Miss Lundy. We've taken some from you, but so I think the way you live your life and navigate your relationships, are there any little skills to people listening or little tangible things they could do to, I guess, be a tomorrow person? I know it's hard to receive compliments sometimes, but like not everyone's going to have like a near-death experience.
I hope not.
Thank goodness.
I hope not.
But yeah, are there any little other practical ideas of how you can live your life with like integrity? And I know you're not perfect, but like anything that comes to mind of tips out there.
I think that one of the biggest lessons that I've learned is just how much better you feel about yourself when you are genuinely being authentically true to your values and showing up in the world in a way that makes you proud. So I don't know what that looks like for people, but I know, you know, as someone growing up, feeling a lot of pressure to act a certain way or be a certain way or, you know, in high school, I felt like I was too much and I wasn't like, you know, what some guys wanted to date or it was just one of those things that I think like especially growing up in Perth, before moving to Melbourne, I always just thought that I didn't fit in or something. And then moving to Melbourne, and I remember like walking down the street and seeing someone like fully in drag for the first time probably in my whole entire life, and just like people walking in Brunswick and Collingwood and just being so authentically themselves. It was like a really eye-opening experience to just be like, no one literally cares. Like no one cares. And it's been a journey. I'm still on, and I think everyone is. But yeah, I think my advice is like find the ways that you can, even if they're small, to become more authentically closer to who you are or who you would want to be. And they can be baby steps. And eventually they will grow to a place where you are kind of like going out into the world or calling people out on things that don't align with you, or having difficult conversations in a relationship that might normally scare you. So yeah, I don't know.
No,
Is
I
that
love
helpful?
that. It's so helpful.
Super
Okay.
helpful. Do you have one little baby step you took that helped you understand more of your values and beliefs?
That's hard. Actually, let me think about this. I'm going to go back in time to see what would have.
Because what you were sharing, that it sounds like you're like there's little experiments, like little tests you can do to test out your authenticity or to call something out, even though it feels icky and uncomfortable. Like it sounds like you've there's a lot of trial and error.
Yeah. Okay. I think a lot of it has been like the baby steps have just been when someone has overstepped a boundary. And I am someone who is probably a bit more of a people pleaser than not. And I think I have spent a lot of my life just kind of going like, oh yeah, it's fine, it's okay, like no worries. And, you know, some of those small steps have been just kind of flagging with someone that like it didn't sit well with me, or like putting a little boundary in place, or just calling something out. And for someone who isn't a people pleaser or like is quite staunch in their beliefs or whatever, that might be really easy to do. But like back in the day, you know, even just like saying to a guy like, hey, I don't really like it when you like rock up 3 hours late, or I don't really like it when, you know, you don't answer my calls or you don't text back, or, you know, to a friend, like, I don't really like it when you cancel plans to go hang out with your boyfriend, or, you know, those little small things that you might just like not really address, or like you might just like act as all okay around. But having, I think, the strength to have those like conversations when probably normally I wouldn't have, are like my little small steps, or were my little small steps, and still are in, I guess, like feeling more true to myself and like making sure that I'm, respecting my boundaries and being true to that.
I love that.
And it's so practical, and it's what we hear in the Tomorrow Woman space all the time. Of whether it's feeling agreeable or being judged for being too outspoken or too much. It's like a whole concoction of all that stuff. And getting into the practice of voicing it, you'll build confidence even though it never feels perfect.
Totally. And
the
like
muscle gets stronger.
And also like be prepared for people to not like that.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Like be prepared. Like I was presenting on Brekkie the other day and was telling a story, and someone texted in like, you're a man's worst nightmare. You know, so like it's just like be genuinely prepared for people to not like that.
Totally.
And that might feel off-putting, but like, I don't know, would you rather live your life being true to who you are and aligning with your values, and the people who are close to you will really respect and love you for that?
Yeah.
Or, you know, I'm like, what's the alternative?
Yeah. And it's so cliche, but those comments are so much more about the person than yourself.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Matt's was
what I'm going for.
That's what I'm branding.
Yeah, you've been called worse.
Yeah,
we were
you're
gonna,
worse.
we were gonna
We were looking at some of the terms and like, should we just
Should we,
intro
like,
her as
gonad,
all the words?
gonad stealing,
Yeah.
feminist witch, self-proclaimed.
Witch, yeah. I love that you're owning them. There was a few there though.
Oh God, I know.
I'm sure you've heard them all.
And I find it so funny because I'm like, I think I'm pretty tame.
Oh.
Like,
You
compared-
don't make me feel defensive, but yeah.
yeah.
Well, that says a lot.
Because everyone makes me feel defensive. Let's move to the end.
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd want to just add of how you define what a tomorrow person is? Like what is a tomorrow person to you?
Well, I think like thinking about the work that you both do and how incredible it is and how much work you put into, I guess, like changing the way that we think about gender and stereotypes and expectations. And so I think that a tomorrow person is someone who is like kind of what I was saying, is authentic to themselves, but is someone that isn't afraid to question those things and to have those difficult conversations and to like lead, whether it's like people in schools or in workplaces or whatever it is, like to lead those conversations. I think that's how I would find a tomorrow person. Is that right?
I mean,
Is that right?
I don't know.
no, that's totally shit. Now
Do
we
I get
need
an
to
A+?
get rid of Dee's episode. I don't think we fully know either.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
I think part of us doing this podcast is
Trying to
working
find
that
out.
out. And I think that like we all have our own version of it, but there's definitely qualities that, you know, we believe that you need to be that. But the full answer,
Yeah.
we're still trying to
Stay tuned.
stay tuned.
But you're not going to like hearing this. You embody a lot of those
You do.
things. So what you just defined. But yeah, on behalf of Paige and I, thank you so much for today.
Oh, thank you
Yeah.
guys.
We've covered a lot. you
I know. I feel like I
Yeah.
blacked down and forgot what I've said.
Yeah,
Story of my life.
We've spoken about fringes to slicky back. We've spoken about near-death experiences, inspiring
Dee.
feminist teachers, boundaries in relationships. Like we've covered a lot in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
So just thank you so much for your passion and generosity and how you balance like ferocity with like real
Aw.
tenderness. So
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Paige.
much.
Seriously, Ryder, like I was saying, like I need that written down. It'll be one of those things I'll remember in my moments of, you know, depression. I'll be like, oh, that's
I think
so
they
nice.
recorded this. So.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
true. Thank you.
can
No, that's
make-
honestly, I appreciate you even thinking of me as someone that is worthy of this conversation. So thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Tomorrow People Podcast. Urban Decay Site.